This is the home screen for the Amaziograph app, and I like to pick the mandala option, and it gives you this nice little, I guess, radial symmetry all set up, and then we can go into the brush and adjust our options here. You can make it bigger, smaller, you can adjust the opacity, you can even make the lines kind of like a dashed line or a dotted line by adjusting the line pattern options. And so here you can just see that it won't be a solid line if you turn that on. And then there's the shape recognition tool and the pressure. So when you have the reactive pressure on, depending on how hard you push, it changes the thickness. I like to turn that off so that my lines are the same thickness throughout my drawing. So that's that option there. And then we have the eraser. You can make it bigger or smaller and erase your drawing that way. We have the manual size tool, the opacity, the undo and redo, and then the layers panel here. So to merge down or delete, you just swipe to the left, and then here is your canvas options and your sharing. So I am just going to kind of walk you through the process for drawing one of my mandalas in this app. I start by adjusting my settings, making my line thickness 100% opaque, and that turn off that reactive pressure tool. And then you can see you can easily zoom in and zoom out, the same thing with that almost like swiping motion. And then I'm just going to go ahead and draw my shapes. If you watched my mandala tips and tricks, I went over how I like to do all of these shapes that I like to call petals, and I went over a lot of the designs that I like to fill them with. So I'm not going to talk the entire video. I'm just going to pop in and out to kind of tell you some of the things that I like about the app, some of the things I don't, and I just want to share the process with you. Thanks for watching. The main thing that I don't love about this is that it is pixelated. So they don't have the ability to do vector images in Amaziograph yet. And I know that if you use Procreate, it has the same issue. I've recently been using Adobe Draw and Adobe Fresco, and those have more vector capabilities. So if that's something that's really important to you, you can look into, I guess, importing your drawings from here into Illustrator and then turning them into a vector design, if that's something that would work for you. Otherwise, if you absolutely have to have a vector drawing, it's not going to work for that. But I do love this, almost even for like to get into that Zen state, like it's almost like meditation for me. I just zone out, I do my mandala drawing, the process of it is just so relaxing for me. So that's primarily what I use this for, is just to draw when I need that type of experience. I think that the mirroring here is so much more advanced than it is in Procreate, and that might just be because this kind of does it all for you, and in Procreate you kind of have to learn and adjust and tweak the settings to get it to be where you want. But I really like the way that this one just automatically gives you the layout. It automatically mirrors it for you when you choose that mandala setting from the home screen. So I don't know, it has its, positives and the negatives like any app that you're using, but for what I use it for, I think it's really great. One of the big issues I have is when you use the paint bucket, it leaves a lot of pixels out. So it's not the most precise, and I feel like I end up having to hand color the whole area by myself anyway. So it isn't really a tool that I use a lot of the time, just because I think it adds extra work to the drawing process. So the way that I add the color is I like to add another layer underneath of my drawing layer, and then I just kind of color in what sections that I want color, and it leaves that black outline on top of it. I'm sure there are better ways to do this, but this is just what seems to work for me. I don't love the color mixing tool for this app. It gives you some pre-mixed colors, and then you kind of have to mix your own. So if you don't know anything about like color theory and what colors work well to get the colors you want. Like, you don't have to know color theory to be able to mix colors, but if you're not familiar with mixing colors, it makes it a little harder. And it's not like the most precise either. Like, I feel like you can be trying to mix your colors together and it'll get really off. I don't know. I don't love it, but it is what it is. I do enjoy this part though, because it's almost like you make your own coloring page and then you get to color it in. I think that's fun. Once I have all my color laid out, I just add another layer and go on top with that black detailing to fill in all my patterns. These are the same patterns if you watched my Procreate mandala video. It's the same designs I like to use. I just switch up the arrangement of them each time. Once you learn the basic patterns, and these are in no way, shape, or form an exhaustive list of all the patterns. These are just the ones that I like to kind of default to. Once you have all those down, you can kind of honestly make unlimited different designs with them, and that's what's so fun about this type of art. And once you have the final design, exporting the picture is easy. You just go over to this little dots, hit share, and then save as image. And then you're done. This is the final drawing. I hope that you found something helpful in this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future content.